Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back out to Giga Texas. It's Friday the 9th of February 2024, and as usual, a lot of activity, a little bit of clouds today as well. Now, a few things I want to talk about in the intro today, starting off on that west support facility at the south end of the new end-of-line site. We see that 64 superchargers are now being placed in that area that will have that covered canopy, and there's additional trenching just to the south of this as well, and it looks like they may be extending the conduit in that direction from some of the electronic cabinets of the superchargers, so perhaps we'll see even more installed in that area. Also in the outbound lot, as you can tell by this image, not only have the crews been pouring the foundations for the lighting system, but additional markings to identify what sections of the outbound lot are which, so that as the lot becomes used and we start seeing vehicles there, the truck drivers will know where to go. Shifting over to the south end of the building where the extension is going on the southeast side, we see more of those very large glass panes being installed on both the ground and the top floor. And this is going to extend all the way around the entire perimeter of the building, and the entire south end will just be one giant glass wall. In the southwest corner, we also see the crane working to continue to assemble that steel structure on that side of the site, and then eventually both of these steel structures will be joined together, and that's happening fairly rapidly. Now on the west side of General Assembly, a couple of interesting developments. First, as you can tell by this image, some additional rework is going on with some of the receiving doors near the main entrance, and it looks like the load levelers are being removed and they're reconfiguring this part of those receiving doors. In addition to that, at the west main entrance as well, as you can tell, crews are very busy in that section. We've seen the trenching and also some of the form work. Looks like they have 3 parallel sections of concrete that have been added. Now, a lot of people think that this may be eventually a sign for Tesla, since there are no signs here, and that's possible, but we'll have to keep watching to see how that develops. Now, going to the northeast corner of the casting machine structure, the big development is the extension of the concrete apron further away from the building and over to where the berm has been widened. This is also in the area where we saw a lot of underground conduit and the electrical wires that extend from the new electrical switchyard all the way down to this section and then into the building. So a lot of work to reconfigure this northeast side. Over at the temporary electrical switchyard, we see that more work on the disassembly is well underway. In fact, one of the 2 A-frames has now been disassembled. More of the electronic items, such as the circuit breakers, have been removed, and preparations for the second A-frame to be removed as well are underway. So very soon, probably another week, maybe 2 weeks, this entire temporary switchyard will be gone. And the final area I want to show you is on the east side of the battery cathode plant. The first section is asphalt being added next to the wall along the entire length of the site. Now, we saw that being prepared actually on my previous video, and also there were a lot of geotextile membranes being placed underneath where the asphalt is now being poured. And finally, at the south end of the crash test facility, that concrete slab continues to have development, and they're getting ready to start working on the vertical rebar, and we'll see what that will look like once it's completed. As always, a lot more going on in the video today, a lot to see. I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you again, as always, for your kind support. Take care. Have a great weekend.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Good morning from the east side of Giga Texas. A little bit of haze and low clouds, but otherwise the lighting is pretty good. We see here the work on the road on this east side has got geotextile membranes and they're extending it over towards Robotic Avenue. And in addition to that, the structure for the parking garage is now growing another section further to the east, and it's now encroaching into this area where we've seen the footings and some of these smaller wall segments for the ramps for the vehicles will be the second set. We also see some welding that's going on and some additional concrete columns, beams, and double T panels getting ready for installation as this entire structure grows larger and towards the east. We also see on the roof segment the rebar mesh, the section that has the concrete already poured and the amount that is being prepared for even more concrete pouring. So overall, this multi-level parking garage is really coming along quickly. It's about half of its final size, and once it's completed, it will be about the third largest in the world. We also see some electrical conduit on that west side of the facing the main building underway. As we come up onto the roof, we see this open section once again. The curbs around the open section are mostly completed. You can see some of that fresher white kind of curb around, and looking down through the beams, we can see those three kind of yellow tanks and also some more of the Evapco chiller units underneath. Now soon they'll be moving the ventilation ducts that are on the west side of the highway over here for installation to finish that out. As we climb up over the power lines again, we'll take a look at the southeast corner, starting first with the tanks. They are now 5 sections tall, so they've actually grown since my previous video. You can see the work that is continuing on the construction of those very large tanks in that southeast section. In addition to that, the steel structure for the extension continues to grow, and it's closing in on merging with the extension on the southwest corner. On the southeast corner, the amount of glass that has been installed is definitely growing. We see another crate with more glass on the trailer waiting for installation, and this view here gives you a really good look at not only how much glass has been put on this southeast corner, but just imagine the entire south corner and the south end of the factory with that entire glass panel. And looking across the factory, this gives you an idea of what this end of the building will look like once it is completed. Here's a good look at the southwest corner, the steel structure that is continuing to be assembled. The crane is busy adding more columns today, and you can see the amount of materials on the ground around the perimeter grade beam waiting for installation. We also see this crane busy bringing up 3 beams at the same time. I kind of call that the wind chime, but take a look at the workers just to get a good sense of scale, and you can get a idea that these are not small beams. They are quite large and extremely heavy, and it's just amazing the work that these steel workers do, not to mention the fact that they're crawling up on top of that very tall structure to install that material. Again, you can see the columns painted black. That is where all of the glass will go. The glass looking through with the black columns will help hide them behind that kind of the entire glazed surface. We also see a lot less material here on the ground, and as I zoom in, get a good view of the work that continues here to finalize the securing of the window segments on this section. It looks like there's maybe 8 or so more panels remaining for installation to finish off this southeast corner. There's another look at the large tanks, and now they're at the 5th level of that steel material, so they continue to grow taller. And if you look down at the ground, not only can we see the footing work that's underway, but a Cybertruck exiting the factory. This is the exit point for the Cybertrucks once they finish the end of line, and then they head over to the testing and calibration lot ahead of getting ready for shipping. As we bring the drone down here between the old building and the new extension, this gives you a good view of the continued footing work and kind of those tie beams between each of the footings here on this section of the site. And this is a good looking view straight down at how that work is continuing. More of the concrete being poured for some of these larger footings as well. Here's a good look at one of the steel beams being attached to two brand new columns that were just erected this morning, and a good look at how this structure is continuing to develop, and that perimeter grade beam with more of the materials. In addition to that, some more of the footing work on the bottom and the right hand side, and then that gap with that perimeter grade beam where most likely the boring tunnel will at least reach to in the near future. Here's a good look at the temporary staging lot with all of these Cybertrucks. The good news is that most of these seem to have those plastic panels around the top of the bed installed. There's a few that are missing, but that seems to be a development that is positive for the Cybertrucks. So let's cross over the highway and let's take a look at some of the developments here in the south part of the west support facility. We see some of the concrete vaults, the conduit that's extending on this trench, the tunnel concrete segments, some of which are painted in red, some other metal items that are associated with the Proof Rock 3, the entire setup here for the boring company. And in addition to that, they are assembling more of the Proof Rock 3 and this thrust ring that you see on the right-hand side of the screen. As I was departing, heading back to San Antonio today, I saw that that had been lifted up and was being assembled at the end of the Proof Rock 3 three sections that you see at the bottom of the screen. So that is definitely on the process now, and the next time I get a chance to come out here, that and the rest of the parts should be assembled or well underway for the assembly. So this is a good view of how that is progressing. We see the belt cassette, or otherwise known as the conveyor. This will take the dirt out of the tunnel as it's being dug. It'll deposit it into that concrete square section, and then that will be used to remove from the site. There'll be additional equipment that will be installed that will connect this belt cassette to the Proof Rock 3, and that will be coming in a few weeks. The 3 silos are for cement, and then that is a grout mixture that will be used to line the tunnel between the concrete segments and the dirt once it is excavated. So let's proceed to the north and take a look at the south part of the end-of-line facility. All of this trench work is continuing, and it looks like it's kind of connecting into some of the electronic cabinets that are associated with these Superchargers. And currently there are 64 Superchargers that have been set out in this particular area. It's starting to look more organized, so this is probably going to be similar to the final construction. And then of course there will be a canopy that will be on top of these Superchargers once completed. I also wanted to show you a few developments on the outbound lot. First of all, the concrete bases for the lights have been mostly poured. You can see those square sections and the slash lines. We also see the numbers have been marked onto the loading areas, and that will help direct the vehicles and the trucks to know which vehicles to pick up and transport off site. Next to the building, we see more geotextile membranes being added and then dirt on top to prepare this entire section for asphalt. And we can see how it will be outlined with the concrete curbs. And we also see work on the HVAC ducts and the units that are on those concrete panels, and then additional work on the right-hand side. And we'll see a little bit of that when we get back with the drone. I want to fly away and just show you the remaining section of the outbound lot and how it looks today. Much of this is being used for trailers and equipment, but you can also see more of the trench work that is being finalized, and this will be for additional lighting in this section. As we approach back to this north end of the structure, we'll give a good view of that equipment that I had pointed out, and that's being installed here on the northwest corner, and then the window area with those black drapes. Still, we haven't seen any of those windows arriving, but that should be soon. Also a good view at the conduits and the concrete vaults. This is where the underground HDPE pipe was placed that connects under the highway to the main factory and brings electrical power to this facility. And a good look at the asphalt that's on this east side as well. So let's return across the highway and let's take a look at some of the developments here at the west main entrance. And as we bring the drone down, one thing that you can see is next to this trailer, and the opposite side has got the artwork for the Cybertruck. We see a Cybertruck and some of the Teslas being displayed. As we continue to come in towards the main entrance, it's a good view of the concrete work that is underway in these 3 parallel concrete strips. There's been additional work on either side of this that's near where the workers are with the wood, but I don't know exactly what this is going to be. There has some people thinking that there's maybe a sign that's going to be placed here. Not really sure. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments section. But as always, more changes here at the west main entrance. The temporary end of line for the Model Ys is very busy as well. It looks like the free color of the gray is the color of the day, but you can also see some other Model Ys inside getting ready to come out through those ramps. As we continue to fly towards the north, I'm going to bring the drone up and just give you a quick look at the roof section that is being prepared for repairs. They have a lot of bricks holding it down because the membrane has separated from the underlying insulation, and there's also been some leaks in this area. So you can see the clean stripes. That's where they have been working to reseal and reattach the weatherproof membrane to this part of the roof section. Work continues to expand the 4680 production cell portion of the factory. We see more steel items, some bridge crane rails, and some additional deliveries of equipment, and also some of these dumpsters with broken down crates from some of the equipment that's already been moved inside. We also see this truck with drywall. That's going to be used for that interior fit out. And then, of course, the number of castings continues to grow. These are all rear castings for the most part for Cybertruck. There are some front castings in those rack mounts. And as we get down a little bit lower past this trailer, we see even more castings. On the center of the screen is the rear. On the right is front castings. And then you can see as they continue to extend along the wall. We also see this section of the concrete apron being prepared to widen over to the berm. A lot of rebar as on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. They've been drilling holes along the edge of the concrete to extend that rebar in and make it a contiguous piece. Also, you can see the work on the berm and the preparation for that extension. Also, a underground smaller water management pipe is being laid as well, and of course the number of castings and other equipment here waiting for installation inside the casting machine structure. I'll give you a quick view of the roof and these ventilation systems that are under construction, almost finished. They're just working on those 2 larger sections on the center of the screen. And as I bring the drone back down, this gives you a good view again of the work on this berm, getting ready to widen the apron, that underground storm water pipe that they are installing. And this section here is where the electric wires through the conduit makes a 90-degree turn. And this has all been installed, and you can see the spools of wire over that concrete section where they enter into the building. We also get a chance to see more of the enclosures being installed on these receiving doors. And it looks like crews are inspecting the ground. Again, maybe they're preparing for that concrete apron to be finished off here as well. But we see more of the work here on this apron and getting ready for some more of those enclosures to be put on these 5 receiving doors as well. So a lot of work on receiving doors on both sides of the factory today. As we look at the testing and calibration lot, we can see some Model Ys arriving, some of them under the Superchargers. Also, we see this section of asphalt being placed. I think the reason why they're doing this is that there's a giant bottleneck with the new vehicles trying to enter the testing calibration lot here. So I think they're going to make this for a better access point to queue up the vehicles until they are able to enter into the testing and calibration lot. And here's a good view of this entire lot, the helicopter pad, the rainmaker at the bottom of the screen, and the wind tunnel just to the right of the screen as well. And you'll also notice that kind of a barrel item that's black and white between the wind tunnel and the rainmaker. That's actually the drone that Tesla uses for Giga Texas. This is a good view of the road work that's continuing towards Robotic Avenue. It'll eventually extend Robotic Avenue all the way to the south. And of course, here is a good look at the very busy outbound lot today. A lot of Model Ys, but there are also probably at least 20, maybe 25 Cybertrucks throughout this entire area. Some of them have just arrived on the bottom right. Some of them are intermixed with the Model Ys, waiting for the trucks to pick them up. And some of them are on the far west side as well. I have seen many trucks today arriving, picking up, and departing the site with the Cybertrucks, and that seems to be fairly rapid, so they don't tend to keep the Cybertrucks here very long. But on this side of the outbound lot, there's several Cybertrucks, probably at least 10 to 12 on this side as well, waiting for the trucks to pick up and depart the site. As I continue to move the drone around and show you some of those Cybertrucks and the Model Ys, I noticed this one Cybertruck that's being lifted up onto this transport. This one's a little different. I'll zoom in and you'll be able to see that it's got some kind of a tape system on the top of the glass and onto the roof. I'm not actually sure what that is for, but it was definitely something that's a little bit unusual, but again, they're moving the Cybertrucks off the site. So let's go over to the battery cathode plant and take a look at some of the developments in this section of the site today. Not a lot of changes on the west side of the die shop. The glass and the front door is being installed on that south east corner. But also we can see at the bottom of the screen preparation work to extend Tesla Road through this section. And as I look back, you can get an idea of where that is coming from. Eventually this will be paved and it will be all the way through this particular area as well. As I mentioned, you can see the framework on the bottom left for the door for the die shop. As I bring the drone down lower, we can see the alleyway, how many vehicles are being parked here. I think they like this because it's concrete and it's not so much mud anymore. And of course, there continues to be work next to the chiller plants and these nitrogen tanks and vaporizers. See that section on the middle of the screen waiting for concrete. And those white pipes are connecting into the underground stormwater management system. This is a good view of the top section of the chiller plant with all of those pipes, valves, heat exchangers, and other items, and the Evapco fans that are operating as well. And a good look at the entire west side and how this continues to develop. It's about half dirt, half asphalt now, and hopefully we'll start seeing more of the asphalt installed on the west side. Next to the building, most of the asphalt has been installed. It looks like they have some work to do around the tree to make that a final installation. And then as we approach the lift station, good look at the work that's underway today. It looks like 2 vans for the utility workers. And there is a worker on the north end with all of these valves and manifolds and a generator that is operating as well. As I turn around towards the battery cathode plant itself. I'm going to get in closer and try to look in through the windows. My previous video, the lighting was better, and some of my viewers noticed that there was some sort of a employee or contractor event going on. There were a lot of people inside. Unfortunately, the light is not as good today, but this gives you a good view of what it is like inside. It almost looks like a large lobby or office section. So anyway, that part of the battery cathode plant is definitely coming along. Of course, the receiving doors on the north end are busy as well with the trailers bringing in items. And the big news today on the east side is the paving operations that are underway. You can get a good sense of how this is extending along the entire length of the building. Most of the dirt has been prepared. Some of it is continuing to be prepared on the south end. They've put geotextile membranes to help stabilize and strengthen the soil, then top dirt on that, and then the asphalt is laid. And here's a good view of all of that. The geotextile membrane, the top dirt, and then preparation next to this trapezoidal concrete apron. And that was used to help install those 7-story tall platforms and equipment earlier this year, or actually last year. Here's a good look at the south end of the crash test facility, this new slab and the rebar that is forming what looks to be some walls or a vertical portion of this new structure. Again, I'm not sure exactly what this is for, but definitely progress being made here on this particular addition to the crash test facility. So I'll bring the drone up and give you a good view of the east side and give you a sense of all of the changes that continue to happen on this part of the battery cathode plant. Arriving at the temporary electrical switchyard, we see big changes today. The first of 2 A-frames has been dismantled. The second one is almost ready for dismantling. They're removing the gravel that kind of made a floor along this entire section. Most of the electronic items, with the exception of just a couple of them, have been removed now. And just those 3 control trailers, that metal pole, and a few other items remain. They'll be removing the fence at some point as well, and eventually, probably within the next week or two, this entire site will be removed. And the reason why they are doing that is that it no longer serves any function, and the new electrical switchyard, which you can see here, is fully operational, and it's much larger and can provide a much stronger and more stable electrical supply to Giga Texas as Giga Texas continues to grow and production capabilities continue to be built out as well. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to show you a different part of the site that I don't normally show. One of that is the mobile batch plant that you see in the middle of the screen. That's been responsible for most of the concrete for the construction of Giga Texas. And then just north of that, we have this section that continues to grow and change slightly. This is used for a lot of the landscaping materials. Those purple pipes are part of an irrigation system as well. And by pointing back towards the east, you get a chance to see where that battery cathode plant and die shop is and where this is located in relation to most of the other sites that we see here at Giga Texas. So this good view of a site that we don't normally see, I hope that you enjoyed that and gives you some insights into some additional work that goes on here at Giga Texas. As I bring the drone down again towards the Megapack, I just wanted to show you how it looks today. The double-ended breakers are connected on the center left of the screen. However, I did look closely today, and the physical disconnects on the south end of the system are still open, which means that the Megapacks still are not connected at this point in time. The trailers here and this yard is mostly cleaned up now. There's almost no materials, and that was responsible for the construction of the mega packs and that north side. So looks like that operation is definitely coming to an end. So hopefully we'll see the mega packs attached and connected soon. So as I bring the drone up to a higher altitude, this gives you a good view of the east side, the parking lot, the multi-level parking garage, and Giga Texas, and many of the sites that we saw today. As always, thank you very much for your support. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care.